Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, go ahead and like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you can get notifications about new videos that I've dropped. If you are returning, welcome back. Come in, get comfortable, clock this tea. I'm going to drop a couple gems on you about what you should know before arriving in South Korea, okay? Sit tight, get comfortable. Let's go ahead and clock this tea. So you wanted to get this tea, right? All right. So the first thing that you need to know before coming over to Korea, that people don't express enough, is a visa. When you come over to Korea, if you're coming over here for military purposes or just travel purposes in general, you need a visa. No matter what people tell you, no matter what you see online, get the visa. It saves you time when you're going through immigration, and it saves you time just overall in general. When you're on the flight coming over to Korea from the US or any other locations, they're going to give you this little card, and this card is going to show you, it's going to say, like, hey, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm visiting, and it's just going to give them a little bit of information about what you're going to be doing in their country. So, to speed up the process, if you do the KETA registration before coming over to Korea, it'll save you a lot of time. And so a lot of people sleep on that. They're like, oh, I'm American, or oh, I don't need this. It says I don't need this. Just do it. Just do it. It saves you time and it saves you hassle, and you don't have to go through all the stipulations and a long immigration process if you do it ahead of time, because you're already in the system. You're already registered. Regardless of what, take care of that visa ahead of time. The next thing that you should know before coming over to Korea is culture adaptation. Okay? Culture adaptation is real. A lot of people come over to different countries and they get caught in their ways of wanting it to be similar to their home country. It's not. This is not your country. You are not from here. You are visiting. You are a visitor, rather long term or short term. You are a visitor. So when coming over to South Korea, everything that you know or everything that you can think of about being in the US or being in other countries, throw it out the window, right? Throw it out the window. And the only reason why I say throw it out the window is because you will never get the full experience of being in South Korea or being in another foreign country in general if you have that I want it to be this way in the back of your mind. You will never emerge and actually get to understand the people and get the full cultural experience if you have that in the back of your mind. So, culture adaptation is real. Throw everything out the window, throw all the expectations out the window, because when you put an expectation and they don't meet your standard, or you're just like, oh, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be, then you're upset. But when you throw everything out the window and you have no expectations and you're rolling with the punches and you're rolling with the flow, you get the most out of the experience. After arriving here in July 2024, we arrived July 27th, 2024. The first thing that I had in my mind was, these folks are going to be rude. I went down the rabbit hole on Facebook, looking at all these groups, trying to figure out, trying to prepare myself, trying to get comfortable with trying to already know things. And so I had a perceived notion that, it's going to be this way. I'm going to be treated this way. This is going to happen to me because it happened to somebody else. That is not true. That is not true. So, when I first arrived here, I'm not gonna lie, my first maybe month was a little rocky because I had that in the back of my head, like these things were gonna happen. So if you tell yourself these things are gonna happen, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna happen. But if you just take it out your head and be like, my experience is gonna be my experience, and I'm gonna tell people my experience, then you tend to live a little. You tend to loosen up and you tend to live just a little bit different than the preconceived notion of these things will happen to you. And I can honestly say that I actually love Korea. I love Korea. Like, after arriving here and after that first rocky month with all my expectations and all of these things that I've already had in the back of my head, when I took them out of my head, threw them away, and we live off base in amongst the Korean culture and amongst the Korean citizens, I've loved it ever since. I have loved it ever since. My kids love going to school here. Um, my neighborhood store, the grocery store, the restaurants, the people around. Everybody's so helpful. Everybody's just like, they're foreigners, but they don't treat us like that. Like sometimes they're like, oh, I'll help you. Like one time we went out to Korean barbecue and the Korean man did not know. He did not know that the menu was in both English and Korean. So he was offering to he like got up from his dinner, came over to our table and was like, "Hey, let me help you." And we were like, "Hmm?" He was like, "I'm going to help you." He was like, I can speak English." He was so proud that we're in his country and he can speak English and he can help an American. So he came up to us and he was like, "I'm going to help you." And we were like, "Oh, no, we're okay." He was like, "No, I speak English. I speak English." And I'm like, "We're okay." And so my husband looked at him. He was like, "Oh, no, our menu is in English." He was like, "Oh, it's in English?" And he was like, "Oh, okay, then you guys are good." And I thought that was just the funniest thing because he was so gun ho on, let me make sure that they understand what they're getting, what they're eating, and not knowing that the menu was in both English and Korean. He was just like face first trying to help us. And I thought that that was a really cool, exciting experience because it's like sometimes people are not willing to just get out of their comfort zone to dive in to just help somebody that they don't know. They're just like, whatever, they didn't ask for help, so I'm not going to give it to them. And so by him being willing to just help us out of nowhere, I thought that was just so dope. I thought that was so dope. And the corner store here near where I live at, every time I go in there, there's two two there's two different experiences now. There's the store owner, and then there's his son. His son's more like like a Gen Zer. You know how Gen Zers are. They got their phones. They're in their zones. They're talking to their friends. And then you have the millennials and the baby boomers. And I want to say the father is a baby boomer, and he's so welcoming. He's like, hey, hey, hey. Every time I come in, he lets me know that he has my items. And he, when we don't come in for a few days, and if one of my sons go over there, he's like, where's your mom? Where's your sister? Because me and my daughter always go in there. And he's always just, checking for us to make sure that, we have the things that we need all the time. There's not a time that I've went to the store where he didn't automatically was like, "Hey, I got this. I got this for you. Come here, come here." Or he'll like suggest things to me, and I'm like, "Okay, let's go." So I think that is so dope, far as not being from here, but them getting so comfortable with me as a person that's living in the neighborhood, and they're so used to seeing me now that they've like got accustomed to saying, "Hey, I have what you like. I know what you like." Or, "Hey, try this. This is really good." And I think that is so, so dope. So dope. So dope. Um, Another thing that you should know before coming to Korea is cost of living. Okay? Cost of living. Everybody is trying to escape the inflation in the US. They're trying to go somewhere where their money is going to be stretched to the T. And let me tell you, if you make US money and you live in Korea, you'll do just fine. You'll do just fine. The average salary in Korea is under 30,000 a year, and they do just fine. The food is not expensive, the groceries are not expensive, the clothing is not expensive, the rent is not expensive. Like, we live in a new city called Goduk. And in this city, there is a very, 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 very big Samsung plant because they do the little chips and the little everything Samsung. They do that right up the road from me. And so this city was built, and it used to be, cabbage and rice fields and things like that. And so they tore all that down, and now it is like an up and coming city. Like, up the road, there's a new shopping center, there's new food areas, there's like So much stuff coming here, and like left and right. I'm so impressed because I'm like, the Koreans, oh, they get to work. When I'm leaving for work in the morning, they are already out there working. On the weekends, working. I'm talking about in the snow, they was outside, okay? And I'm like, dang, these people really work hard. And when I think about that, I'm thinking about like, okay, in the US, they push projects out to get the most money paid to them. Meanwhile, here in Korea, the Koreans are working their behinds off Monday through Saturday, honey. Monday through Saturday. And they're not extending projects. They're not, from the outside looking in, they're not extending projects. So to me, I'm like, okay, they're getting their things done on time, on budget. And the project management person in me is just like, okay, Korea, okay. And thinking of that, it's like the cost of living here allows them to not want to extend things and do all that extra stuff like the US. The US is going to get every dollar that they can out of a project. And if they can get an extra dollar, child, they will. But in Korea, the cost of living is very livable for all of their citizens, no matter where you are, northern, southern, here where I am in the central part of South Korea. It is livable. It is livable. We have a 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom villa. It comes with a washer and dryer, and it comes with like a storage area. There's 4 floors in our building, and we pay 1.9 million won, which is equivalent to $1,400. $1,400 for a 4 bedroom villa. That's probably upwards of 2,000 square feet. In the US, baby, we're not paying 1,400 in no new area that's being developed next to any shopping centers, any clothing stores, any grocery stores, any factory plants such as Samsung. Baby, you're lucky if you even get under $2,500, okay? So to put cost of living into perspective of where we are, it is so nice here. And I feel like that really just take care of their people. Like cost of living, I feel like it should be livable everywhere you go. Like everywhere you go, I feel like it should be this way. And embracing it is like, oh, this is so amazing. This is so amazing. Um, and a lot of people get online and they say, "Oh, it's expensive," or "You can't afford to get any big spaces." Hogwash, hogwash. Okay, and to top it off, when you come over to Korea, everything can be negotiated. So if it's not within your budget, you can make it within your budget. Unlike in the US, where there's rental property companies and there's management people that are running things. No, 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 no. A lot of the places here, including the apartments and the high rises, they're individually owned. So there's an individual owner who owns these, who has the ability to say, okay, I'll lower the price for you. We signed a 2-year contract. Our contract is what our contract is. So, I mean, the cost of living here is amazing compared to where we were, because we were in Seattle. And for a 2 bedroom, 2 bath apartment that was just under 1,200 square feet, it was $2,200. Now we're in a 4 bedroom, 2 bath, and we're paying 1,400. This reminds me of like 2007, 2008 time frame where you could get something like this and you just living good, living comfortable, okay? So don't sleep on Korea for that. Another thing that you should know before coming here is travel opportunities. Okay, I've looked up so many places to travel for 2025, and it is on my roster, okay? Because listen, the flights, the flights from South Korea to other Asian countries, okay, not expensive at all. I'm talking Japan, China, Thailand, Vietnam. Like I'm $200 round trip. $200 round trip. I think the lowest that I seen was from here to Japan, which is only a 2.5 hour flight. I think I seen it was like 110 round trip for 5 days. For 5 days. Like, what? Everybody wants to go to Tokyo. Everybody wants to go to Tokyo. Even if you want to go to other parts of Japan. $110 for round trip? Like, excuse me? $110 for round trip? Opportunity. Opportunity. And I'm going to just leave that one there. Because if you go to Google Travel, look it up, Vietnam, Thailand, Guam, Japan, Indonesia, like, get your travel on. When you come over here, if you're living over here for short time, long time, get your travel on. It is well worth it. Another thing that they do not tell you about Korea before coming over here, the weather. Baby, it has been in the 20s since before Thanksgiving. It's almost Christmas, and I was not expecting us to have a white Thanksgiving. Now we might have a white Christmas, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought the snow didn't snow until January. I thought the snow didn't snow till January. And here we are. It done snowed in November. And it was a good foot and a half of snow. And I was like, y'all didn't tell me this snow like this. Y'all didn't prepare me for this. And it was cold. I had my bubble coat, and I'm telling my kids, put your boots on, get your hat, get your gloves, put your stuff on. It is cold outside. And I'm just like, wow, it is cold. But the caveat to that is when it's hot, it's hot. It is hot. Hot. It is hot. I'm saying it is hot. Oh my gosh. We arrived in the summer, baby. Got off the plane. I was like, oh, it's kind of stuffy. Got to our hotel on base. Baby, the AC was running 24/7, okay? Because it was hot. When we moved into our villa in August, hot. It stayed hot until October. Mm-hmm. It was in the 80s until October. So from the time we arrived in July till October, and they said it gets hot in May. So from May till October, we're talking 80s to 100 degrees every day. 80 to 100 degrees every day. I'm like, what? Nobody prepared me for this. They say, yeah, it gets hot in Korea, but this heat, this ain't nothing like a Texas. This ain't nothing like a Virginia, a Florida, a Georgia, a nothing. Not even an Arizona, okay? This, you can't plan for it. You cannot plan. Baby, just make sure you drink your water and stay hydrated because it is a lot. But that also makes great for the other things that Korea has to offer, such as hiking, outdoor activities, go karting, the beaches, outdoor movies, outdoor concerts. Like, there's so much that Korea has to offer that is slept on. Outdoor markets. They have the 3/8 market. They have the 4/9 market. They have the just every day that ends in 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 3/8, 3 and 8, 4 and 9, 2 and 7. So each day of the month that ends in those numbers, there's markets. And it stays open. You can get fresh produce, apples, vegetables, fresh seasoning, beans, whatever you can think of. And I feel like that is just amazing during the times where you're just like, I really don't want to go to a grocery store. You hit up one of the markets in the summertime and people are out there and you save a lot. Definitely. The markets, I think the last thing that I want to touch on, travel opportunities, cost of living, weather, support system. So coming here to Korea is very different. And so embracing it, you need to make sure that you have a footing. So coming over here as military, you get over here, you don't have no family, and you're far away and in the time zones and different things like that. You kind of get discouraged because you're like, I have nobody over here, and you're trying to get acclimated with the culture and things like that. And a lot of times we feel like, "Ah, I just want to go back. I really just want to go back. I really want to be around family." But having that in your mind, I will say that it will keep you stagnant. You will never grow like that. It's good to have family, it's good to talk to them when you can, but in order to grow, you have to get uncomfortable. And out here, there is a lot of opportunities to create new support systems. There are so many people taking the opportunity to live abroad or live in an Asian country such as South Korea. There's lots of people here that are not from here. They choose to work on a military bases or they choose to work in, small Korean areas for Korean employers, and you can actually connect with people just by speaking. Just, hey, how you doing? I'm from such and such, and you make bonds and you build a community that way. Similar to if you were in the States and you wanted to just move. You wanted to fill your U-Haul and you wanted to go out and you wanted to just experience something new. Move from out of your hometown. Just go. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing here. There are so many Facebook groups you can join. I mean, you can take that with a grain of salt. Um, the Korean daycares are very informative. They offer a lot. They offer a lot to the kids that go to the Korean daycares. And so, on a daily basis, when you're dropping your child off at the daycare, they will text you different things and they take them on different trips and stuff like that. And you build a support system. At work, you start getting comfortable with talking to the Koreans because most of the jobs here, on base or off base, there's a big Korean presence. So when you're at work and if you need help with something as far as like ordering from their site similar to Amazon, which is called Copay, they'll help you. If you have suggestions or you want to maybe get an oil change on your car, they will help you. If you need something fixed or if you need a contractor, they will help you. They will embrace you. They will take you in under their wing. They will help you. I have not been here and asked a Korean a question and did not receive 100% help or support in the thing that I needed or inquired about. Every time I've ever asked a Korean anything, they've guided me 100%. And they also made sure I was pleased with the outcome. Like, hey, did they take care of you, such and such and such? And you're like, you followed up to make sure I was taken care of. That is so, you suggested something, then you followed up to make sure that it was the standard. And not to say that when you're in the US that doesn't happen, it does, but it doesn't happen often, not anymore, because people feel like, oh, if you didn't do it, that's on you. But here, it's like they have those like old school values where it's like, hey, such and such can help you out. And then you go see such and such. And then such and such does help you out. And then you go back and you just mind your business. And they say, hey, did you go see such and such? And you say, yeah, I want to go see such and such. They did this. Oh, did you like it? Did you enjoy the outcome? Was the outcome what you expected? And you like, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for recommending that service to me. And thank you for knowing that that service was going to fulfill what I needed to be fulfilled. That's what Korea has to offer. They have the travel opportunities. They have the great weather. They do get all four seasons, but they do have the great weather. They have the great food. They have the great welcoming community. The cost of living is very reasonable for anybody on any salary. Because, like I said, the average Korean in South Korea makes $30,000 or less. Or less. $30,000. Type it in your calculator. Type it in your calculator. If somebody made $30,000 $30,000 divided by 12 is $2,500 a month. $2,500 a month. And I told y'all that my 4-bedroom, 2-bath is $1,400. So if I minus 1,400, that's $1,100 left, right? Most Koreans take public transportation. Public transportation is everything, and it'll get you there. So say you pay maybe $300 a month, and then you buy groceries, so minus 200. Say you have cell service. Cell service here is like $50 for unlimited everything. You can put that in your savings, or you can do whatever you want to do. I, Listen, if you were thinking about coming to Korea, come on. There's room. There's space. You'll love it here. You'll love it here. Okay? You will love it here. Come on. Like, nobody's stopping you. Don't listen to what people are saying online. Don't get into those Facebook groups where they're talking down on it, because a lot of people have the preconceived notion that it should be similar to the US, and it should not be, okay? It should not be. It should be its own experience in itself, where you experience somebody else's culture on their terms, not yours, and you have a broadened mind, an open mind to new things happening around you. So if you wanted to come to Korea, come on. There's plenty of room and there's plenty of culture to embrace, okay? We are here. We welcome you. Okay, okay. If you've made it here, I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for listening, paying attention, and understanding the things that you should know before coming to Korea. Don't don't base your experiences on somebody else's experience and make the same mistakes I did, because that'll leave you in shambles, okay? If you thought about coming to Korea, come on. There's room for all of us here, okay? Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you get notified of the next video that I drop, okay?